Hello and welcome to Lunchtime Politics, reaching you live from our global headquarters here in the nation's commercial nerve center, Lagos. I'm Jeffrey. I'm going to bring you up to speed with what's happening in politics and in the polity at midday. Governor Siminalayi Fubara says he disagrees but accepts the judgment of the Supreme Court for ordering representation of the state budget to the State Assembly and nullification of the October local government election. He asked newly elected chairman to vacate office. And just moments ago, he says he's ready to die for the cause of justice. And just days after the Supreme Court ruling in Rivers State House of Assembly, the Speaker, Martin Ameule, presides over plenary at the legislative quarters in Port Harcourt. Our correspondent right there, bringing us up to speed as to what will be playing out today. And the Nigerian Labour Congress threatens to down tool if the federal government sets out the plans to regularize electricity tariff for customers for Band A, B, and C. Welcome again to the program. At midday, we bring you up to speed with the happenings in politics and in the polity, and we can report to you right now that, as we said at the beginning, that the Rivers State House of Assembly, led by Martin Ameule, have started the plenary, and they are sitting at the moment. And one of the things out of that meeting, breaking news, is the fact that the Assembly has now given Governor Siminalayi Fubara 48 hours to present his budget to the Assembly, as instructed by the Supreme Court in that particular judgment. So, breaking news, the Rivers State House of Assembly, led by Martin Ameule, has now given Governor Siminalayi Fubara 48 hours to represent the budgets as ordered by the Supreme Court of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. So we're going to get more on that. It's a developing story. So that's the latest coming in from River State House of Assembly. Hey, we're going to delve into a dimension. It's a bit complicated when it comes to River State. It's called the Theater of the Absurd for a reason. As we speak, about 3 people, also 2 set, laying claim to the local government chairmanship of that state. We're going to get to that. But let's tell you what's happening at the national level, where the Labour Congress, NLC, has rejected plans by the federal government to regularize electricity tariff for customers for bands A, B, and C. In a communique released after their National Executive Council meeting in Yola, the Adamawa State capital, the union has now vowed to lead mass nationwide protests across the country should the government continue with its plan. Last Thursday, the Minister of Power, Adelabu Adebayo, said lower bands will be upgraded to Band A. The Labour Union described it as, in their words, a forceful of consumers and economic violence against the working class and broader Nigerian populace. Let's now tell you what happened just yesterday, where the River State Governor, Siminalayi Fubara, said he will implement the Supreme Court verdict after a thorough review of the official document. In a statement or a statewide broadcast yesterday, the governor emphasized that regardless of the personal feelings, the rule of law will prevail. It's also issuing a new directive concerning the administration of the local government council following the Supreme Court ruling, where it said they should vacate office and hand over to the head of local government. Let's take a listen to him.
Although we disagree with the judgment, we are bound to obey the order made therein as a law-abiding government. Since inception, we have conducted the affair of government within the framework of our Constitution, due process, and the rule of law. While we are not above mistakes, because we are humans, we believe that we have not, as a government, done anything deliberately to trample on the rule of law or the hallowed principles of constitutional governance. Accordingly, I've had a meeting with my team of lawyers, and they have assured me that the certified true copy of the judgment may be available to them by Friday, the 7th March of 2025. I assure you that upon the receipt of certified judgment, we shall study the ramification and implement them without reservation to move the state forward.
All right, so that was last night when the governor had actually given a statewide broadcast responding to the judgment of the Supreme Court. And we did say at the beginning, if you're not here, that the State Assembly has now converged, led by Martina Mewule. And the governor had actually said in that broadcast, just before that, the governor said in that broadcast that the local government administrators, the chairman of the local government, should actually leave office and hand over to the heads of local. Let's take a listen to more things he said in that broadcast.
Given the outlawing of caretaker arrangements in the local government system, I hereby direct head of local government administration to immediately take over the administration of the 23 local government council, pending the conduct of a fresh election by the Rivers State Independent Electoral Commission. I further direct that the outgoing local government chairman to formally hand over to the head of local government administration by Monday, the 3rd of March 2025. Although our dear state seems to be back in trying time, I urge everyone to remain calm and peacefully go about with their legitimate daily activity as we continue to do everything in our power to advance our responsibility to the citizen.
All right, there's a lot to track and keep tab on as far as the Rivers politics is concerned. And we're going to get to it any moment from now, as soon as we can get all our guests. But let's tell you that the People's Democratic Party is criticizing, that's away from Rivers State, by the way, criticizing the State House of Assembly for the removal of the Chief Judge, Justice Maurice Kembese, that's in Benue State, calling it unjust. The PDP isn't stopping there. They are also condemning the statesmen for what they call attacks on lawmakers speaking out against the move. PDG 14 chairman Laha Zewe insists elders should be resolving issues, not fueling the fire, and is demanding that they stop politicizing the suspension of their member and cease attacks on Senate Minority Leader Abba Moro, who called for a federal takeover of the State Assembly. However, APC leaders, Senators Barabas Kamade and Ame Ebute have fired back. They've warned Senator Moro to stay out of the Benue legislative judiciary clash and instead focus on the PDP crisis in other states.
Leaders of the All Progressives Congress in Benue State and the opposition People's Democratic Party are in war of words over the removal of the state's chief judge by the State Assembly. For Senate Minority Leader, Senator Abba Moro had called on the National Assembly to take over the functions of the State Assembly for allegedly overreaching its powers to remove Justice Maurice Kembese, in addition to suspending 13 lawmakers, 5 of whom are members of the PDP.
Benue State House of Assembly has one leadership, enjoys full quorum at all sittings, and has continuously been performing its functions. There is therefore no merit whatsoever in Senator Abba Moro's invitation to meddlesomeness. Further on this point, we wonder why Senator Abba Moro, who, as a leader of the People's Democratic Party in the Senate, has turned a blind eye to the monumental crisis affecting the Rivers State House of Assembly, where the PDP-controlled state government has chosen to recognize and deal with only 3 members of a faction of the Rivers State House of Assembly.
The People's Democratic Party is equally dissatisfied with the actions of the State Assembly for the removal of the Chief Judge, with the recommendation of the NJC and the suspension of 13 lawmakers opposed to the removal.
We find it disturbing that these esteemed elders chose to criticize the unassailable position of the Senate Minority Leader, Senator Abba Moro, whose statements are firmly rooted in the rule of law and established democratic principles. The judiciary, as a separate arm of government and a cornerstone of democracy, must not be diluted with politics. Any attempt to do so threatens the very fabric of our society.
With the removal of the Chief Judge of Benue State, political parties in the state are now at daggers drawn as the PDP is alleging political intolerance against lawmakers elected into the State Assembly on its platform.
All right, let's get to the conversation. The big one has to do with River State. River State has been in the news for a very long time. And last Friday, the Supreme Court made a few decisions. Just to recap, basically, the Supreme Court has said that they recognize the governor should present the budget, that's the 2024 and 2025 budget, to the Emeole-led House of Assembly. It's also said the federal government should not pay federal allocation to River State until that is done. It also nullified the local government election, and the governor has complied, one of which is he asked the local government chairman to step down or step aside or vacate office, and now head of local governments are there. But the House of Assembly is sitting, led by Martins Ameule, as we speak, and they've given 48 hours to the governor to come present the budget. What will happen after 48 hours, we do not know. The governor said he's going to lead from the front if it comes to a fight. We don't know what those fights mean, but our correspondent is right there at the legislative quarters of where this decision was made. Let's join him now. Charles Oporum is our correspondent in Port Harcourt. Charles?
Hi, Jeff. Good afternoon, Jeff. So I'm here at the River State House of Assembly quarters. Behind me, plenary is ongoing inside this building just behind me. I have to step out, to connect now. Yes, indeed, you are correct. There were 3 prayers brought on the floor of the House, one brought by the Deputy Speaker, Right Honorable Dumle Mao, where he moved the motion that the governor should be given 48 hours to come and present the 2025 budget. They didn't mention the 2024 budget at all, but they were very specific. They said 2025 budget, that the governor should bring it to them within 48 hours. So today is Monday, so we expect that 48 hours will be by Wednesday. And that was not all. There was also a motion and a statement or a comment by the Speaker condemning the governor's directive that the heads of local government administration should take over the administration of the local government. The Speaker referred to it as illegal and against the Supreme Court judgment, which had outlawed caretaker committees, and indeed had said that the only people in charge or who should be allowed to take charge of local government are elected local government officials. So I don't know how that is going to play out, but he did mention that there is a lacuna in the law with regards to when situations like this come up. So who is going to take charge of the local government? Basically, the Assembly is not going to allow the heads of local government administrations hold sway there even for one day. And then the final conversation that is happening or just happened here is the House said they are going on plenary. I did hear 12 weeks. I haven't confirmed that yet. But that plenary, they are going on a recess. I beg your pardon, not plenary. They're going on recess from Friday. So they mentioned that they've been working for the past 2 years, no recess, and that they are tired. So after the governor presents the budget to them on Wednesday, as they believe it will happen, by Friday, they intend to go on recess. So these are basically the 3 items for debates right here at the River State House of Assembly. Jeff.
Thank you so much for that update. And of course, your eyes and ears right there at the Assembly will allow you to go hear what more is going on at plenary. But we must thank you, Charles Oporum. As soon as you get anything, an update, please do well to reach us. We'll be right here to break it to the people. Thank you.
You're welcome.
So let's bring in our guest right now. Sugbe Eli is a former chairman of Degema local government area. He joins us via Zoom from River State. Also, Hope Ikiriko is a former chairman of Ahoda West Council in River State. Gentlemen, thank you so much for coming on the program.
Thank you.
Let me start with you, Mr. Ikiriko. Let's understand what is playing out here. We understand whilst we're trying to process the incident or the decision of the Supreme Court saying that the budget should be presented to the Ameole House of Assembly, the local government stands nullified, and all the things that in between, the FAC allocation not being sent onto that budget presented. Then we heard that there was another case the appeal court has decided in favor of members of chairmen who were removed under the Wike administration that came into office under the Rotimi and Mechi administration. And now those chairmen are laying claim that they are the rightful people to take charge, whilst the ones that their tenure ended and the House of Assembly as then had extended their tenure, which was a controversial issue, are saying that the decision of the Supreme Court has come. They are supposed to take charge, not any other person. So help us make sense, Mr. Ekiriko.
The issue of 2015 local government chairman, of course, everybody knows what's happening in Rivers State now, where you can just go to any pharmacies or any market to buy court judgments and then begin to flaunt it here and there. That issue has been overtaken by event. We have been there for 6 good years. And before we came on board, recall that there was a gap. A court case was on. Until that court case was laid to rest, there was nothing happening. It was when the court case was laid to rest that we were able to conduct election. The then governor, Bryce Anyeso Wike, that was when he was able to conduct election. And we came on board and we have served out our tenure for 6 good years. And then we're only hearing now, because they know that they have failed in the Supreme Court, that an appeal court, has granted them that judgment for them to come to. Okay. Even if they've granted them such judgment, let's assume, but not conceding that they've granted them such judgment, there is also time to go to Supreme Court. There have been several judgments that has also, taken place that has also shown that has been overtaken by event. This Supreme Court judgment that just came now is a judgment that has been given by the apex court of the land. And I don't think an appeal court judgment will overturn that. The chairman that just left office is the one that left in this 2024. And if there's any law that has been amended, they are the ones that will be favored. And I know that the assembly will do the needful. And when the needful is done, there's no vacuum in government. Then the chairman will go back to the office. We hear yesterday that the governor came on broadcast and said local government chairman, outgoing local government chairman, should hand over to HLGs. Now, the truth is that by the ruling of the Supreme Court, they never existed. The law has said that they don't exist. Are you asking ghosts to go and hand over documents of local government to local government chairman? It's criminal. If anybody walks into the local government councils today and begin to carry documents again, to official documents of local government, people who are not recognized and known to law, and carry official documents of government and then give to the HLGs, that's criminal.
All right, Mr. Ekiriko, so let me ask you just a moment before I go to Mr. Sugbe.
Yes.
So let me be clear. When did you leave office as chairman?
By June 2024.
Okay, you're the persons that just left office June 2024. So
yes.
Help us break down what is going on here. I'm going to go to Mr. Sugbe in a moment. And maybe I should take you to Mr. Sugbe. But okay, let me stay with you for just one. If you can answer this in 2 minutes. So the Supreme Court has said that election is nullified. By your own inference, they never existed in the first place in the eye of the law.
Yes.
Your tenure expired or ended. So it wasn't like anything. Your tenure ended. The Matanamo House of Assembly extended that tenure. That decision is also in contravention to Section 7 of the 1999 Constitution. Don't you see that there's a problem here or a lacuna? How do we fix it in your view?
No. You realize that in July, 11th of July 2024, the Supreme Court came up with a judgment, which also is in consonance with the local government amendment law of Rivers State. That in a situation where an election cannot be conducted, the National Assembly, in the case of the president, can make a law extending the tenure of the president.
Which law is that? Which law are you citing?
We are talking about the law of the local government. There was a Supreme Court ruling last year that gave credence to that action by the Rivers State House of Assembly. The Rivers State House of Assembly made a law. Of course, you know the Constitution. The body, the institution that is vested with powers to make law for
Mr. Ekiriko,
and administration of the local government.
I'll come back to you in just a moment. My apologies, I'll come back to you in just a moment. I'll come back to you in just a moment. Let me bring in Mr. Asogbe on this because I am familiar with a lot of the decisions that have been made. I'm not sure I'm familiar with this because the Supreme Court affirmed to say the state must ensure democratically elected. The core controversy here is that your tenure ended. Whether or not they have the power to extend is the argument here, whether it contravenes or contradicts the Section 7 of the Constitution. Mr. Asogbe, let's come to you on your take. Mr. Asogbe?
Yeah, Jeffrey, good afternoon. I can hear me.
Yeah, I can hear you, Mr. Asogbe. You have like 3 minutes. Let's hear your take. We just heard about your case.
Thanks for having me. Thanks for having me. My brother, my friend from University of Port Harcourt, Hope Ikriko, please don't mislead Nigerians. I'm very fine. An election held before he came to office. That election was nullified by a federal high court. I will file an appeal, and he played also pranks in 8 years. I will set on course on Friday, 28th of February. That judgment was set aside. All right? Now the court made a clear statement and said, look, that the office you're seeking to be resettled in had some occupants already. And those occupants are not the party before us here. And therefore it will be unfair to them. It will be a breach of fair hearing under the Constitution to make binding orders on them whilst we didn't hear from them. That same day, unknown to the Court of Appeal, the Supreme Court will come down hard on those elected who are supposed to be occupying office on October 5, 2024 council elections. That's what we're here. Your own argument about an extension does not hold water. The state high court, which has jurisdiction over state high court assembly matters. In the case of Kugam and 6 others versus the governor of Rivers and others, PAC 1320/CS/2024 duly nullified that extension that you are referencing right now by Justice Laketima Gabriel Kio, PhD, Judge of High Court of Rivers State. It was nullified, they appealed, the appeal court threw it out. The Supreme Court had no knowledge of that issue. It was not before them, so they could have said go back. And that's why in throwing out those who were elected on the 5th of October last year, they made a constitutional order about you going back there because the High Court of, because the Senate for Assembly allegedly amended the law to bring you in. That Section 9(1) of the law, Resident Local Government Law, was nullified, set aside by Justice Laketima Gabriel Kio, High Court of Rivers State, affirmed by the Court of Appeal in Abuja. That is the law of the land. You have no place to come back.
No. Let me correct you.
No, Ikriko, allow him. Mr. Ikriko, allow him. He has the floor. I'll come back to him, Mr. Ikriko.
Okay. Yes. Allow this one happens a vacuum created for us and the judges to decide. As the judgment of the Supreme Court has thrown those people aside, let's create the vacancy. Judgment of Appeal Court, which did not give the necessary consequential orders. That is a matter for legal literature, legal procedures to be followed. Not those who want to take us back in time. Your tenure elongation project was nullified by High Court of Rivers State, duly ceased the jurisdiction. Appeal Court affirmed it.
All right, Mr. Asogbe, because of want of time, let me come in here, Mr. Asogbe, because of want of time. Just a quick one, if you can answer in 30 seconds, so that I can get Mr. Ikriko to respond on some of the consequential order and forcible order of courts. But don't you think that what you're fighting for is already status bad?
No. The constitutional, anything that is questioned in the Constitution is a live issue. Our rights were breached, were not had before our tenure was nullified. And that was a contention that Appeal Court agreed with us. And stopping us, they derived the Appeal Court, they did all sorts of things to delay by time for 8 years. Further breaching our rights, and the court held so. So if anybody will set it back in the Supreme Court, not them. As for what to happen to our constitutional orders, leave that to us. One matter.
All right, let's bring you, Mr. Ikriko. I know you wanted to respond to him.
Yes.
And then in responding to him, just a moment, Mr. Ikriko, in responding to him, I still want you to, just a moment, Mr. Ikriko, so that you can gather the thoughts together.
Yes.
In responding to him, I also want you to stay on, to also talk about that issue of elongation or extension, I don't know what term to call it, because there's no clear-cut enforceable order from the Supreme Court. As a matter of fact, we understand we may not even be able to get the CTC until maybe Friday or so. So right now, it's just a conjecture of some of the things we're talking about, but we know the final decision of court. Let's go ahead.
Good. Yes. Now, in responding to him, I will respond to the extent of the 2015 election he's talking about. Now, they set the matter aside just for lack of compliance. It's a constitutional matter.
there are rules and electoral rules that require certain time for them to do the election. Rotimi did not meet that time. They did not meet that time, and therefore conduct the election hurriedly makes them not to comply with the electoral law at that time. Same thing happened in our case. The Supreme Court did not say the chairman should go back. The Supreme Court says the House of Assembly has a power to make laws for extension. Now, when they say they make in the local government amendment law,
Mr. Ekiriko, yes. So that we can guide our audience, which Supreme Court, which CTC has the clear-cut, enforceable, consequential order says the State Assembly can make law to extend? I just wanted to be sure so that we don't confuse and misinform the people.
No, in July 11, 2024, on this issue of elongation of tenure, there was a clear...
No, please, no. July 11
what I know...
That's what I'm saying.
It has nothing to do with your case. It has nothing to do with your case, please. It has nothing to do with your case.
Listen. It's not about our case. They made
your case is made in seconds.
National Assembly.
I qualified your extension made in seconds. July 11 has nothing to do with your case.
Okay,
it has nothing to do with the case.
But in 2024, there was a pronouncement by the Supreme Court when they made reference to your case. When they made reference, that's for the National Assembly. They made reference to the National Assembly having powers. Having powers to elongate the term of the president. Can you hear me out? Can you hear me out? In any case, the local State House of Assembly constitutionally has the power to make laws for local government, even regarding their tenure. And now taking a cue from what the National Assembly, saying that the National Assembly has power to elongate the term of the president in a situation where election cannot be held. Just like in the case of River State. If election cannot be held at that time, and now let me tell you something. The law does not say that we should. They have not made that resolution. They said they can extend their tenure by a resolution. When that resolution is made, because the law, even when the governor refused to assent to the law, they vetoed it.
All right.
Now, having vetoed it, it becomes a law. Now, it is possible now that when they make a resolution, and that those who are...
All right, Mr. Ekiriko, I think you've had your time. Let's go to Mr. Ekiriko. Let's go to Sogbe. Mr. Ekiriko, hold on. Sogbe, you have 1 minute as we wrap up the show. Sogbe. Mr. Sogbe.
There will be...
Mr. Ekiriko, hold on, please. Can you allow Mr. Sogbe to have his input before we end the show, please? Mr. Sogbe, please go ahead.
Your Chief Whip of House of Assembly of Rivers State, please don't mislead the public. Your attempt to elongate the term was nullified by the High Court of Rivers State on May 22nd. The issue of July 11th Supreme Court judgment has nothing to do with local autonomy in the suit filed by the Attorney General of the Federation to stop the appointment of cadre committees and all whatnot. The signing order of court right now, the Senate judgment is the one that reversed the nullification of 2015 elections. If anything to be done, with anything that University does concerning local government council in River State, it is what happens to that judgment. In law, ubi remedium. Whenever there's a wrong, there must be a remedy. You wrongfully removed us, the court has said so. There must be a remedy. You cannot come back after done 6 years on our tenure, and then you come back again. Unfortunately for you, in constitutional matters, sign does not run that way. There are live issues, and court has said so. You wait for the Supreme Court to say otherwise, and then you can come in. But for now, you have no choice. You can't come in. The House of Assembly cannot go back and amend what the court have nullified. It was not even by resolution. I want to correct that.
All right, gentlemen, I must thank you both. It's an ongoing conversation. This is quite an interesting conversation, but we do not have any more time. Sogbe Eli, former Degema Local Government Chairman, Hope Ekiriko, former Ahoda West Local Government Chairman. Thank you, gentlemen. That's all we have time for. Thank you for your time and company. And of course, we remind you again that breaking news before we started the show, the River State Assembly has said Governor Fubara has 48 hours to present the budget. What will happen after, we do not know, but they will be going on recess anytime from now. Thank you for your time and company. I'm Jeffrey Zonga. Bye-bye.